I'm so shiny, be prepared because it's the last you'll ever see. Oh, no wait, oh, that's against the rules. Well, I'm still shiny! Hey guys, MasakoX here. We have plenty of good boys here on the MasakoX channel. We got the likes of Raditz, Nappa, Broly, even a version of Droidy Boy over here. But the one that most people tend to gravitate towards here is a story which initially needed some qualifiers and technicalities to make work logically. But since then, he's become his own Bugman, with a partial desire and passion for hugs, ones that could outweigh anything that Blub Blub could ever muster. In your face, Cochin! Anyway, this scenario focuses itself around one of my favourite villains from the series, and now quite possibly one of my favourite good boys because of the fact that it takes all that was positive and amiable of the original Cell and then give him a more benevolent edge towards proceedings. This is all centred around the notion of what might happen if Cell were to turn good. Or at least a version of Cell did. Because if you're new to this, then we must point out that the Cell we are talking about here isn't the exact same perfect Cell that we see in the story. That tale had been told, and he was beyond the redemption phase since he had a lot of Freeza to tone down, as we often say. This Cell we're alluding to is the one that was given the chance to grow from the state that it was in the sublab of Dr. Giro. From there, Bulma took it in, and gave it the chance to gestate and then become its own Bugman, who loved hugs and became a firm friend of Trunks and Goten when they were young, and then later, pretty much the majority of the Dragon team. It took a while, sure, but he was able to do it and get everyone on his side. We've seen him come a long way into a very impressive member of the team, with his own set of powers and overall positive persona. In the last part, 21 had chosen to really cement himself into the team by staying by future Trunks' side as much as possible, going against Zamasu, finally gaining the respect of Vegeta after years of trying. Right now, he had shown he has fully ingratiated himself into the Dragon team without fault. As if having children who were cute as buttons and friendly to everyone wasn't enough. Well, I mean, that's Vegeta for you. Unlike the original, future Trunks and Mai were able to resolve things without Zeno being called upon, and we actually had an ending that didn't want to make me scream to the heavens out of frustration and anger. I mean, for me, I would certainly consider that an absolute win. Despite this though, we are not out of the woods yet in terms of the Tournament of Power. That is still going to be a thing, as we will explain today. So when it comes to the tournament, everything is at risk here. But one thing you need is to prevent different universes from spying on your important strategies. If NordVPN were in Dragon Ball Super, I'm sure Universe 7 would use it to prevent that rascal Champa from stealing ideas. Besides, sometimes I might want to see what Universe 11 is up to, and thanks to NordVPN, you can access location-based content, meaning you are not locked in to whatever internet is available where you are. Yeah, that'll teach those pesky troopers. Nord's thousands of servers cover Europe, Asia, America and Africa, nearly 60 countries in fact. They can shield your information thanks to military-grade encryption technology, as well as having a straightforward presentation that you can use anywhere: Mac, Windows, Linux, iOS, Android, and even more. In just a couple of steps, NordVPN lets you take control of your internet experience and assures the safety of Universe 7. So go to nordvpn.com/Masako to get 70% off a 3-year plan plus a bonus month at no extra cost when you use the code Masako as well. So give NordVPN a whirl by visiting nordvpn.com/MASAKO for a chance to save some cash and take control of your internet adventures. Thank you. With things in the future now secure, the gang have returned back to the past, and a very exhausted 21 is very happy to get his son and daughter back to the past and out of danger. He does give them a talking to, stating that they could have ended up stuck in the future, or even destroyed if they weren't careful. The Cell Juniors from which they were based on were tough, sure, but not tough enough to survive the rigors of Zamasu or Goku Black and whatnot. Mita feels very bad about this, and promises not to do anything similar or something so reckless. But not before she points the finger at her brother Condra. I should have known that you put her up to this. Condra looks very frantic and is spluttering excuses, but 21 laughs and excuses them both, saying that as long as they're safe, that's what counts. The tension is dissipated. Whew, that was a close one. With the defeat of Goku Black and Zamasu slowly fading into the background and normality being restored with every day, our heroes are finally able to get some long-needed rest after a very shaky period of time travel, which they thought they'd seen the back of back in the days of the Cell games. 21 used this opportunity to do a little more traveling and parenting by showing some more regions of the world to Mita and Condra. Both the kids are slowly getting to grips with their powers and flight, as well as really being inspired by all the sights and sounds they are seeing right now of the world beneath them. 21 is really pleased to experience this all himself, actually. It was nice to get away from the gang sometimes and just spend time with his own family. Mita could often be seen getting up close with animals and was fascinated with how things worked, whereas her brother Condra was very much into doing what King Gohan would do and torment dinosaurs, as well as doing some training of his own with his new special toy from Trunks. Despite this travelling around, they did manage to return just in time for a certain baseball game. Condra even acted as the umpire for a bit. Put simply, everyone is enjoying their time without anything nefarious going down around them. That is until one day when Goku and Vegeta take 21 for some routine training with Whis. The group are trying to help the biodroid get more accustomed to the trials of God Ki. Whis was particularly intrigued as to how organic robotics could handle this. I don't often say this, but you mortals really do surprise me. I never dreamt that cyborgs could even contain this power. Things are certainly much more interesting with you around. Whis finds this a splendid thing to help pass the time, but his master is not nearly as accommodating. As far as he's concerned, 21 being there was utterly pointless. For all he knew, that one might never be able to go beyond his perfect form. To be honest, he's just a waste of space. I don't even know why he's here. Surprisingly, it's Vegeta who stands up for the Bugman. He has proved himself to be far more than that, Beerus. This catches 21 off guard, but he is discreetly prideful right now. But yeah, he chooses to be quiet about this. He doesn't want to push his luck yet with Vegeta. Whis is much more understanding of what makes 21 than the cat is. His Saiyan biology, as well as some samples from Freeza, should technically allow him to attain certain upgrades, in theory. He has gotten the basics of the ki down, at least enough to contain it, so who knows what he could do. It's all uncharted territory, and for an angel who has lived for millions of years and seen everything before him, having something new to play with is always welcome in his books. Mind you, this new training would not change him into a completely new being, 21, as his previous forms did. We're not getting anything to do with the hero Cell X or anything like that. That would be silly, but after seeing how long our resident Bugman was able to resist Zamasu and Black, the group are confident that something more can be built upon Jiro's creation. What it could be exactly, they'll have to find out. One day, after a very exhausting training session, one which everybody is keen to relax from, the group are hailed by some newcomers. Newcomers which Beerus and Whis recognize all too well. They are approached by two of Zeno's guards who tell Goku that the Omni King wants to see him. The group is allowed to accompany him, although Beerus and Vegeta are kind of nervous about this. They are greeted then by the GP, who then takes them to Zeno. In this timeline, things are a little more uncertain, as well as tedious for our king of everything. Zeno is even more bored without a future Zeno to play with. During one of his own solo play sessions, he remembered something that he talked about during that little contest between Universes 6 and 7, between the cat guys. In that moment of recollection, he decided that he wants to hold a tournament of power, and he wanted to thank Goku personally for giving him the idea in the first place. Goku then recalls this himself and gets hyped up for this, winding the Omni King up even more. My, this is the most excited I've seen Zeno in millennia, coos the GP. Nobody else is happy about this though. They all go to talk with Shin and Kibito, and to their big shock, learn about the specific rules of the tournament, including the erasure part. Things aren't looking too good. Even 21, with his happy-go-lucky personality and relaxed attitude to challenges, is not very pleased with the prospect of himself and his children being erased. They had just gotten over the whole Zamasu thing recently, where they were lucky to be alive. When they return to Earth, 21 ignores Goku's request to keep things a secret and tells Gohan and Videl about this before taking his children off to try and vent, as well as tell them in private. After having some time to cool off on a later date, the gang from Universe 7 are invited to an exhibition match. It's exactly the same lineup as in the original, but with Gohan showing even a bigger potential thanks to his training with 21 in recent years. 21 is especially proud of Boo and what he was able to show off despite spending all his time lazing about. But our good boy remembers something. Since Boo is a pro at lazing around, This could come back to haunt the team if they weren't careful. Whilst Boo is still fighting Basil, 21 takes Hercule aside, saying that they can't let Boo fall asleep again for the actual event. I fear that he might exhaust himself if he were to push himself too far. For the sake of the universe, we best keep him energized. Hercule gulps and promises to do his best. Oh man, my caterers are gonna want another pay rise after this. After the event is won, the Trio de Danger are defeated, and the group is tasked with assembling a team of 10 warriors like before. 21 easily convinces his siblings to join since they are so close these days. He doesn't even need to bribe his sister. There's also no need for a two-parter story for 17 this time. Both of them are easily swayed. Piccolo and Gohan are also more than ready to assist. Vegeta and Goku, well, they seem to be obvious choices. So with 21's assistance and charisma, they are able to much more quickly get the numbers that they require for the tournament. There are only 2 more fighters required now. Goku is spoilt for choice. He's considering Krillin, Tenshinhan, Yamcha, Roshi, but there's another person arriving. A pretty controversial candidate if you ask me, who makes herself known to the group quite vocally. Videl wants to fight alongside Gohan. Vegeta scoffs at this. Seriously? Gohan, control your woman! She's obviously delusional. Gohan scowls at Vegeta and defends her. She's not some waif or anything like that. Unlike the original Super Videl, she has actually made some meaningful gains and remembered what she was like. All thanks to the dojo that 21 Hercule had built for them as a gift. She initially, out of kind for 21's feelings, trained with Gohan as a means of bonding and perhaps personal fitness. However, she then got the bug. No pun intended, and got excited with the results, and it rekindled her passion for fighting, as well as then defending the helpless, like her now husband did. As the daughter of Hercule, she had good heritage, and she therefore insists that she will be on the team and be good. 21 then backs her and Gohan up as well. He thinks that this is a good idea, as he has seen Videl in action, and both she and Gohan could work well with one another. Piccolo looking very jealous right now. Now for the last candidate. Goku is very eager to get someone from the classic Dragon team on board alongside Videl, but 21 has an idea, and it's a rather bold idea at that. What about Freeza? The gang are stunned and horrified. Vegeta, who had been proud with 21's progress and maturity as of late, suddenly rounds on him. What? Why Freeza? You have some explaining to do, Bugman. I thought you'd gotten over being so reckless. Explain! Everyone is muttering negatively. That is everyone except for Goku. He isn't saying no, but he's looking very intrigued. Freeza, eh? I must admit, that's someone I was considering myself. I have my doubts, though. Tell me, why him? I'm curious. 21 sighs and looks very matter-of-factly at Goku. I think you know why. All of you know why. Despite my benevolent nature, I am still part Freeza. Part of me came from that monster, there's no denying it. Even though Bulma's done her best to tone down that part of me, his impulses sometimes cry out for attention. I can feel it. It's hard to explain, but I'm still able to, sometimes, think the way he thinks. The muttering stops. This is actually the first time that 21 has explained how his mind works to the group outside of Bulma, and they're keen to learn more. Right now, our universe has a very real danger of being erased, and I get the sneaking suspicion that that is something not even Freeza would want to see. He will help. I know he will. There is a pause before Goku speaks. So, how do we bring him here? Do we use the Dragon Balls, or...? Vegeta is barking like crazy, stating that they're all fools for even entertaining this idea. 18 laughs at this. Calm down, Short Stack. Your jabbering isn't helping anyone right now. Why don't you go and cool off in your safe space and let off some steam? As the two of them bicker, Piccolo then pipes up. How about we ask Master Roshi's sister to allow him to leave the other world for a day, as she did with you, Goku. That way we'll have certain control over him. I'm sure he'll ask to be revived with the Super Dragon Balls, though, if we win. But it's the lesser of two evils. Goku nods and says that that is indeed the most logical option. Vegeta is still angry, as you could probably not be surprised. 21 is looking very uncomfortable right now, but before he can utter an apology, Videl pats him on the back and winks. Don't worry, I know you're on the good side. Also, thank you for backing me up, pal. 21 smiles, but he can't get the thought of potentially disappointing Vegeta out of his mind. In the end, the prince just gives up. He agrees with the group, but not before turning to the biodroid and expleting, "He's your responsibility, and don't you forget that," before flying off to the room of spirit in time. With that, Goku and 21 go to visit Freeza in the other world. As you could probably easily imagine, Freeza is very amused by this visit. "Well, well, look what the space cat dragged in. You two must be very desperate to be asking for my help. And you seem to be very stuck. I think we have mutual interests, friend," retorts 21. The evil emperor likes the banter on display and decides to play ball for the moment with the negotiations. He gets persuaded into joining the group and, just like in the original, his return to Earth does end up with Ro and Sidra doing their plan, then by sending their mooks and then later trying to sway Freeza onto their side. But even though he's an evil, self-obsessed and ugly tyrant, Freeza is Universe 7's evil, self-obsessed and ugly tyrant, and the attack fails. This gives him the chance to show off true Golden Freeza, and asks Goku if he wants to give it a run. But surprisingly, 21 is the one who decides to take up Frieza's offer. "I was very curious about that thing of yours, whether you had managed to improve. As you can see, I have spent some time after your defeat on trying to tap into your improvement. Would you like to see the results, Freeza?" Freeza is obviously very amused. "Ah, yes, that's right. I forgot your part, me. As much as that disgusts me so, you have my attention. Go ahead. I could do with a laugh." He lets 21 power up, and the bio-android is finally able to show off what he's been perfecting. Enter Bronze 21. "Oh, is that it? How funny! You settled for the bronze medal? I expected you to be at least aiming for silver, but I see that you know your place, bug boy. How does it feel to be third-rate?" 21 is unfazed. "Unlike you, ex-emperor, my ego isn't bigger than my head." And so, just like Goku and Freeza in the original, Bronze 21 and True Golden Freeza clash. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is getting anxious. The team is indeed looking stronger in this timeline, but are there going to be other butterfly effects happening that we're not aware of? That is where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Is 21 going to be very effective here? Might his children gain this power in the future? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!